question is, who are you? Give me some kind of description about who you are. Who are you? When you ask yourself that, or someone asks you who are you, what can you put down words, sentences, nothing. You know, I'm not going to look at that. It's for you. It's for you to answer the question. So I do want you to write something down. So put something down. How many of you have heard the saying, or the question, I should say, I'll take this question a little further. Are you a spiritual being having a human experience, or are you a human having a spiritual experience? I didn't say it right. Yeah. Did I say it right? Yeah.
Spiritual being having a human experience.
You say what?
Spiritual being having a human experience.
You believe that?
I do.
How many of you believe that? As I do today, that I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. So therefore, I am not this body. I'm just using this body to show up here in 3D, 3 dimensions in front of you. Another thing about myself that I want to tell you is I am not only not this body, I am not my mind. And when I say mind, I point to the brain, or to the head, because quite often we think the mind is here, that I am not my mind. You know how I know that I'm not my mind? It's because I got these thoughts that go through my head, and I don't know where they come from, because it ain't me. You ever had that? You ever had these thoughts that somehow show up in your head, you're going, wait a second, where'd that come from? That's not really me. So where'd that thought come from? Now, the way I define it is whatever thoughts you hang on to, those are the ones that are going to be affecting you the most, the ones that you put your emotions, your heart into, and the ones you hold on to, then they become you, or at least your identity of what you think you are. Then we have the world, or what we call the world, telling us who we are, right? We come into this world and it's very frustrating because the world wants to define us. So what is the world? Or, when I say the world, I don't mean nature itself. I'm referring to the matrix or the concept of the system. Okay, you follow what I'm saying? Okay, human control factor, how you want to define it. Okay, is that if we can understand who we are and know what our gifts and strengths are and our talents, we can find more sense about who we are, and we can become that very much easier. It's like you get a stamp of approval. You give yourself permission to be that person. Okay? So, back to the question. Who are you? So we're saying that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. So the next question I would ask myself, if that's true, if I'm a spirit and I came into physical form, why am I here? You know, what's my purpose? I want to know my purpose. Who sent me here? Because I'm not so sure that I would want to choose to come here. That's what some people say. Now, myself, I'm very happy to be here. Some people say, I hate this. I don't want to be here at all. And they're ready to take themselves out immediately. And I would even go to probably far to say that part of the reason we probably have this ego that we're attached to is to help us to forget who we are as spiritual beings. Because if we knew who we really were, we probably wouldn't want to stay. Because it's not very comfortable being here in physical form sometimes. Because in this physical form, we find in this world that there seems to be this duality or this conflict of what we call good and evil going on. Pain and suffering and love and joy. So why is this conflict going on in this world? Here we are experiencing it. And if we're spiritual beings and we come from spirit and pure consciousness and love, why would we come into this physical form? Anybody have an idea as to why we're here?
It's not a one-word answer.
Yeah, it's true.
I came in with a program of what I wanted to do, and then I lost my mind when I was born. And then I took a certain amount of time to get it back.
Right, yeah.
And now I feel like I'm back, and my job is to help other people find their life.
Excellent. So how many of you can relate to that? If you think about what he just said, I mean, the fact that, yeah, he's just like, I had an assignment, and I sent myself here, and then I got here and I forgot who I was and what I was supposed to do. And then all of a sudden, there'll be several years to wake up to who I really am, and all of a sudden we go and say, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. Okay, so that's the journey that we're all on, and that is a pretty good description of what's going on here. Right? Okay. So, with that in mind, let's move on to another way of thinking about this. In this physical form, we find ourselves experiencing this conflict. And so we find we have these, what I'm going to refer to as negative emotions or negative thoughts and feelings about ourselves. Because when we ask ourselves, who are we quite often find ourselves with some of these scriptures. And you say, well, I feel lonely, I feel lost, I feel confused, I feel unsafe, I feel poor, useless, bored, ugly, stupid, stressed, depressed, and fake. I don't feel real. Why is it I feel this way? Why do we have these feelings? Anybody have any ideas? Come on, John, you got all the answers. No, I don't think we have them.
Because we forgot who we were.
Because what?
Because we forgot who we are.
Because very good. Did you hear what she said? Because we forgot who we are.
And
That's
we
the reason
bought
why.
into the
That's
program.
exactly right. Pardon?
And we bought into the program.
And we bought into the program. Very good. That's exactly right. We've accepted the fact, because we feel this way because of what the world has been telling us. The world tells you if you're not with somebody, you're going to be lonely. If you don't know where you're going, you're lost. In other words, if you don't have any direction about where it is you're going, then you must be lost. Isn't it funny how the world tells us that? What happened? I mean, years ago, people were adventurers, who would wander out into the wilderness, and who said they were lost? I'm not lost. I'm just out finding out what's out here. I mean, who's the world? Why do we let the world define who we are? Confused. You don't have any answers, so you must be confused, right? That's what the world does. Don't do that. That's unsafe. The world tells us how we do things, so you feel unsafe. Because the world is allowed to tell us that you're unsafe. Don't go out in the water. There's sharks out there. That's unsafe. Don't drink that. It's got fluoride in it. That's unsafe. I mean, it's funny how things, the world and we ourselves tell each other, and we do. We tell each other. We project our own image of ourselves upon each other. And so therefore we suffer under this, is what we do. We end up suffering because we feel poor, because we don't make a lot of money, we feel useless because we don't know what it is that we're supposed to be doing. You're going to be bored because, I've done this before, I've done that, I'm done with this, mentality, you feel ugly because you don't feel beautiful, the world tells us that you got to look a particular way. Feel stupid because you don't have an education, or because you don't have a piece of paper, or because you didn't do something right, or whatever it is that people try to do. You feel stressed out, depressed, and you feel thick. You feel as though it's not real, because the truth is, this really isn't real in the sense about who we are. But we, as John said, we bought into this. Now, if there was one word that I would put at the top of this list that's a description of all this, where does this all come from?
Fear.
Would you say?
Fear.
That's right, fear. Very good. Excellent. That's exactly what it is. It is all based upon fear. And yet there we are. We're living in this fear. And the reason we bought into this is because we don't know. And fear has a tendency, if you don't know, if you don't feel the opposite of this, then you're left with this. So what's the opposite of fear?
Love.
Love, very good. Yes. Not only who you are, but what?
What do you want?
Huh?
What do you want?
What do you want? Exactly right. What do you want? What do you want? So what do you know what the answer is?
Love.
Okay. Now, as a life coach, usually people are coming to me usually with their careers or whatever it is that they were dealing with in their lives and trying to figure out what they were trying to accomplish. But so they said, I need help in But it's true. If you ask yourself, what do I want, enough times, eventually you're going to be able to give yourself an answer. In fact, what will happen is something out of your subconscious will pop out. And someone will say, oh my God, where'd that come from? I never thought about that. That's never even went through my mind before. We started in your conscious mind. But for some reason, it came out of your subconscious. And because sometimes we have things hidden back in our subconscious that we want, but we never really admit to it or we're willing to accept it. Okay. Basic approach is to ask questions. Because my philosophy is, as a life coach, you already have the answers within you. I don't have the answers. All I have to do is help you ask the right questions. Einstein said when he came up with the theory of relativity, he says it was not the answers. The answer came instantly as soon as I knew to ask the right question. He kept asking the questions over and over and over and over again until finally he asked it one way and somehow changing the words all of a sudden brilliant so it came true. And what I'm also going to tell you in Dr. Hawkins' book, which I'm going to be talking about a little later on, this is the book on power versus force. In the second hour we're going to talk about this. He says that when you ask the question, when the question pops in your mind, the answer is immediately already there because the universe creates both at the same time. Now we as humans go, well, how could that be? I wouldn't have asked the question. No, that's not how it works. We perceive it that way. We perceive the fact that we're asking a question because, well, what about this? You know, well, if it's something you're already wanting to know, the answers aren't really there. The reason why the answer and the question came is because one is a parallel to the other. They're complementary to each other, so it's happening. But we don't perceive it that way. But I'll tell you, if you shift your thinking and start thinking that way, then when you have a question or even a desire, because that desire is the same way. If you have a desire for something, then whatever it is you're desiring is there for you too. Okay? So you have to correlate the two. And so when you become aware of the fact that the answers are there and whatever it is you're desiring is there, then you'll see that you can manifest it a lot quicker. You can understand it. Now getting there, that's a whole other thing. I understand it. Because I don't know if you've heard about the law of attraction, which is a universal law. And if you don't know about it, I would strongly encourage you to study it. And but then understand how the law of attraction works. Because whatever it is that you desire, you can attract it to you. The thing is to know how to do it. Because the monkey mind, is what I would call the ego, has its own way of attempting to do that. But your higher self, which I'm referring to that person we talked about a while ago, the spirit being that you were before you came in this form, you're still connected to that higher self, okay? Your higher self knows exactly what it is how to go about and attract whatever it is you want to attract. It's the conscious and the subconscious of our mind that we have to work through. Because our conscious might say, well, I want $1 million. I want $1 million. I'm going to attract $1 million. I'm going to attract this. I'm going to attract this. I'm going to attract it. And all of a sudden, you either get greater in debt or you end up with $1 million and now you've got a headache that you lost your health because you physically can't deal with the stress of having $1 million. Because the $1 million just didn't come out of nowhere. It had to be manifested somehow. You see what I'm saying? And your subconscious starts working against you because you haven't talked to your subconscious enough to know exactly what it is that it doesn't believe about you deserving $1 million. Because if you don't believe that you deserve $1 million, you see, I'm taking extreme here, okay? But there's this conflict that goes on inside of us. Okay, so anyway, all right. Are in the process of discovering who we are. So now we're going to realize that we are moving from here to here. So we probably show little arrows over here because this is where you're coming from quite often, and you're moving towards these other way of thinking. So we're moving out of fear into love. This gives you the wisdom, it gives you the strength to pursue and be what you want to be, what you've always wanted to do, which is love. And the truth of it is, and here you say, I feel lonely. And then you say, I feel lonely and I'm separated. And then you say that I want to be one with all things, right? We've heard that and said it for a long time. I want to be one with all things. And all of a sudden now, in a higher level of consciousness, you come to a place where you say, I am one with all things. It is a reality. It can be a reality. So you can say, I used to be lost. I want to be guided. Now I'm guiding others. I'm guiding myself. The guidance in the I are one. It's connectedness to the one. All I'm trying to say is you become these things. You don't just talk about them. You actually become part of them. So, I hope that this has answered the question for you, a little about who you are, what it is you want.